Buffalo 2000, baby. Eden Palms, Monterey Road, I'm a project, baby. Eagles Drive, we was at Oak Grove, barely graduated. We got Tasha, Molly, Bodie, Corbett, they gon' have to hate us.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the New Media Podcast. I'm your host, Ya. We hope you enjoyed the last episode because, as always, today's going to be an even better episode. Of course, I got the whole crew with me. Everybody's in the house today, and Week 16 of the NFL season is right around the corner, so it's only right that we talk about that. And, of course, the NFL just released their Pro Bowl roster for both the AFC and the NFC, so I know we have some thoughts to share about that as well. But, as always, before we jump into our topics, temperature check, how's everybody doing today?
Feeling good, man. We're getting down to crunch time for our predictions. Someone gonna win that money.
Last couple of weeks, man. Let's get it.
Getting closer. We're getting closer and closer to the NFL season, which only means one thing: the playoffs are right around the corner. So, of course, I'm looking forward to that. But as always, let's go ahead and jump right into the first game of Week 16 of the NFL season. On Thursday night, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road playing the New York Jets.
So I'm gonna go with the Jaguars in this game, because of them being on a hot streak, and also I believe Ryan Tannehill got ruled out, so that's even more motivation for them.
This is the New York Jets we're talking about here.
No, I know, but I'm referring to the fact that the Titans, the Titans got their Ryan Tannehill got ruled out, so that's even more motivation for them to try to secure that top spot, in the division. So. I mean, I'm going to rock with the Jaguars in this game. They're red hot. Trevor Lawrence hasn't put in a wrong foot recently. And I feel like Zach Wilson isn't going to get the job done. Last week, he was up against a poor Lions secondary, and he wasn't even able to have a great game like that. So I doubt he'll have a good one this week. So give me the Jaguars.
Yeah, I'm taking the Jaguars this week as well. They're coming in very confident on a couple of W's. You know, Trevor Lawrence is cooking up right now, and the Jets feel like their offense is just it's going through too much. The run game is bad. They're going through quarterbacks. Receivers are still beefing with Zach Wilson, but fantastic defense. Robert Saleh, his defensive IQ is fantastic, and he still got that defense keeping him in games. But Jags with this momentum, man, and just hearing that Ryan Tannehill news, I feel like, they have a chance to win that division. So it's up for grabs. I feel like they're going to go out there, fight for it, and I think they get the W.
Yeah, I'm going to have to disagree with you guys on this one. I believe if the New York Jets are going to be good enough just to get the win in the spot. Being at home helps a lot, and, I trust their defense to clutch up and get a few stops on Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is coming into this game a little bit banged up as well. Let's go ahead and keep that in mind. So he's not 100% healthy, coming off a short week. So I'm sure the defense will do its job. Zach Wilson will just have to be decent enough to steady the ship and put up a little bit of points here and there. But I don't expect this to be a high scoring game. The over under is 37, so I expected to hit the under for sure. But go ahead and give me the Jets in this one. They know what's at stake tonight. Of course the Jaguars know, they have an opportunity to beat the 1 seed in their division, but the Jets know if they lose tonight, their season is pretty much over. They're not going to be able to make the playoffs, and I feel like Robert Saleh is going to get his guys ready to go in this one. So go ahead and give me the Jets. So we'll go ahead and move on to our Saturday slated games. This week's a little bit different with Christmas being on Sunday. Majority of the NFL games are on Saturday, so we have pretty much a full slate. We'll go ahead and talk about the first game. The Buffalo Bills are on the road playing the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, this one should be pretty straightforward for me. I'm gonna go with the Chicago Bears. I believe even a couple more. I'm gonna go with the Bills, man. I almost messed up right there. I almost sold myself, but I'm gonna go with the Buffalo Bills in this game. I believe there is a bunch of Chicago Bears wide receivers that were ruled out for this game as well. So he's got us three out there. Justin Fields, he don't got much to work with. He never had anything to work with, and now it's even worse. So give me Josh Allen. This game should be pretty straightforward. The lack of weapons for the Bears and just the fact that Josh Allen isn't looking to give up that spot in his division. So give me the Bills.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bills, man, just off the pieces on the offensive side of the ball and defensive side of the ball. A couple receivers out for Justin Fields. It really doesn't matter. Even if they did play, they still can't run routes. It's tough for him out there. He's going to have a lot of rushing yards. He's going to do most of the damage, but it's not going to be enough to beat the Bills. So I got Josh Allen, Diggs, and I got that defense playing phenomenal, and they're going to come out with another W.
Yeah, I think you guys all said it best. Going with the Buffalo Bills in this one. It's going to be nice to see what Justin Fields is able to do against this defense. If he's able to, scramble for once again, maybe 80 yards and maybe get a touchdown. But it's going to be hard to move the ball when you don't have any weapons on the outside, any guys that you can trust. So, of course, go ahead and give me the Bills in this one. But we'll move on to the next game. The New Orleans Saints are on the road playing the Cleveland Browns.
Give me the Cleveland Browns in this game. I like what I've been seeing from Deshaun Watson from the last game. I feel like he's slowly starting to get back into rhythm, made a couple good throws. He's trying to find his footing. And of course, Nick Chubb is always going to be the centerpiece for the offense, just getting it started and whatnot. So give me Deshaun Watson and the Browns in this game. I just feel like they got a little bit more offensively, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is like a tight affair. The Saints give them a fight, but I'm going to go with the Browns in this game.
Yeah, I do believe this game is going to be an extremely close game, but I do believe the Browns are going to come out and win just solely off of. I feel like Watson's getting kind of in rhythm. I feel like he's much better than what what Andy Dalton and what Dennis Allen brings out on the offensive side of the ball. So, Browns defense these last couple of weeks, they've been actually playing phenomenally well. I think they go shut down Kamara and force Andy Dalton to throw the ball, but I don't think anything's going to happen from that. So I got the Browns winning. Nick Chubb, Deshaun Watson, and Myles Garrett. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pick the Cleveland Browns in this one. The game plan is pretty simple. Deshaun Watson's still trying to get his feet wet in this league, and coming back from that long suspension. So got to get Nick Chubb involved early. He had 21 touches, 99 rushing yards last game, and I know a couple of his wide receivers are still banged up. David Njoku still kind of banged up with his hip, and Amari Cooper as well. But once those guys are back up on the field, they're fully healthy. I think this team will be just fine. They've been playing pretty banged up these last couple of weeks, but they're still good enough for me to beat this New Orleans Saints team, which of course they have Alvin Kamara and Chris Olave, but at the quarterback position, it's just been a big problem this entire season. And even though they're still in the race for their in their division, I just don't think this group is talented enough on offense to get the job done here. So go ahead and give me the Browns. But we'll go ahead and move on to the next game. The Houston Texans are on the road playing the Tennessee Titans without Ryan Tannehill. I believe Ryan Tannehill did get ruled out for the rest of the season due to an ankle injury.
This one is a bit of an interesting one. Just because if you watch the Texans the last two games, they've been very tough on their opponents in both the Cowboys and the Chiefs. And I feel like they're, of course, going up against a division rival. They're going to be even more motivated to play against them. And like teams with one win make me uncomfortable because you never know when they're going to get that second win. But at the same time, Derrick Henry against divisional opponents, like something happens to this guy whenever he sees the Jaguars or he sees the Titan or he sees the Texans, like something goes on with him. So, I'm gonna rock with the Titans in this game. I feel like they have the better defense and the run game. Derrick Henry's just gonna have a monster day, so I gotta go with them.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm still gonna rock with Derrick Henry and the Titans, even though Tannehill's gonna be out for probably the rest of the season. Yeah, like I'd be said against the Colts, against the Jaguars, against the Texans, this guy just wakes up, takes off his winter coat, puts 200 yards up, 2 touchdowns, and just calls it a day. So I expect him to have a big day today, man. He's sitting at 1,300 yards and 12 touchdowns, man. So might jump up to like 1,450, 1,500. So we'll see what happens. But I got the Titans and Texans, man. They're sitting at 1 win. They're just playing football. They know they're gonna lose games, but they're competing in the last couple of games. But at this point, they got the number 1 pick secured.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was going to be interesting with this matchup simply because it's Malik Willis is now going to be the starter for the rest of the season. But he started against the Texans last time, and the outcome was no different. Derrick Henry took 32 touches and I think rushed for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns that game. So of course we've been saying it all year. The game plan for the Tennessee Titans is pretty simple. You just get Derrick Henry the ball, and good things happen. And I feel like that's exactly what's going to happen in this game. It's a good opportunity for Malik Willis to step in as a starting quarterback for these next 3 weeks, see what he can do. Get like consistent starts and not necessarily have to worry about another guy coming in and taking your spot. And he also has an opportunity to solidify himself as maybe the starter moving forward if he's able to rally this group into the playoffs with these next 3 weeks. But go ahead and give me the Texans in this one, and the Titans in this one. I'm sorry. The game plan is simple. Like I said, Derrick Henry, I expect him to at least touch 200 yards and 1 touchdown this game. There's just nothing. We could pretty much book it. But we'll go ahead and move on to the next game. The Seattle Seahawks, coming off their Thursday night football loss to the Niners, are on the road playing the Kansas City Chiefs.
Man, misery continues for the Seahawks. Give me the Chiefs in this game, man. Like the Seahawks are on a losing streak, and I feel like this is gonna continue for this team. I just don't see a situation where they win this game. The Chiefs just have too much firepower. You know, Geno Smith, he's been playing great all season, but you know his story is gonna end pretty soon when they don't make the playoffs. So, give me the Chiefs in this game.
Yeah, another sad week coming up. It's tough. Last week I told you guys I needed McCaffrey to give me 25 for fantasy, and this week, Mahomes against Seattle. I got Mahomes as a quarterback for fantasy, and I'm like, damn, I got to get a good 3-4 touchdowns for him to advance, man. But it's against my Seahawks, and yeah, I think the Chiefs are going to win this week. I feel like we are going to put up a battle, but I don't think we're going to come close, especially against that type of offense that they have, the way they move the ball. Their run game has picked up with Pacheco and McKinnon. McKinnon's been a big involvement in that backfield, especially being a receiver back for that team, and he's been cooking up. So it's going to be another tough day for us guarding the run and playing against Mahomes. So go Chiefs, and hopefully we win the last 2 games of the season.
Last 2 games of the season against the Jets and the Los Angeles Rams. So I don't know how much playoff hopes you guys have left after this week, but go ahead and give me the Chiefs in this one. They've just been clicking on all. They've been clicking these last couple of weeks ever since that loss to the Cincinnati Bengals. And like I said, I called it. These guys are not going to lose another game for the rest of the season. And I don't care if each game for the rest of the season is close. The Chiefs are always going to come out on the right side of things and win this game. But I do want to speak about Jerick McKinnon for a little bit. He has been balling out these last couple of weeks, and being a former Minnesota Viking, it's good to see him finally, get a spot back in the league. He's been pretty much banged up these last couple of years. I think he was signed by the 49ers for a little bit, but never played a game for them because he could never get up on the field. And then just bouncing around from team to team. It's good to see him find a home in Kansas City, and he's been a huge help for Patrick Mahomes alongside Isaiah Pacheco. So go ahead and give me the Chiefs in this one. Do I think it's going to be a close game where the Seattle Seahawks might put up a little bit of a fight? I feel like it might be that way in the first half. I feel like in the second half, the Kansas City Chiefs will start to figure things out, and they'll get away from the Seattle Seahawks. But after this week's the Seattle Seahawks, man, they gotta look themselves in the mirror and see and pray that one of the teams above them lose this week, like the Lions or the Washington football team and the Washington Commanders. I'm sorry, and then New York Giants. So, but go ahead and give me the Chiefs in this one. The next game we have on our slate, the Cincinnati Bengals are on the road playing the New England Patriots.
Like it's going to continue on for the Patriots and their offensive struggles with Mac Jones. I don't think he'll have a particularly great game as if he's like had one since the Minnesota game. It's going to continue on in the same trend. And of course, the Bengals, who are just clicking offensively and know that they have to create some separation between them and the Ravens, they're going to continue to win games. So give me the Bengals in this game. There's too much offensive firepower. And Joe Burrow, he's sneakily finding his way into this MVP discussion. I feel like if he has another monster week, we might be floating his name around. So give me the Bengals in this game.
Yeah, last week after what I seen with the Patriots, I told them their season's over. They had Cincinnati come up. I think their next 2 games are pretty tough as well. So, yeah, I got the Bengals winning this one. I feel like Joe Burrow and the offense are going to have fun. They're going to turn up. I feel like Joe Mixon is going to be more involved in this week. They haven't been able to run the ball the past couple of weeks, but from this Patriots side, man, I don't see anything happening with the offense but Ramondre Stevenson. And Mac Jones is going to have another tough day against his Bengals defense. So give me Cincy. They're sitting at what, 10-4 right now?
10-4.
10-4? 11-4. I think they secure the division at this point. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, go ahead and give me the Bengals in this one. Of course, you guys hit it right on the head. Their offenses are going to be red hot once again. I think Belichick, of course, he's going to try his best to try to minimize that wide receiver group with Chase, Higgins, and Boyd. But at the end of the day, that offense is just too talented to be stopped for four full quarters. And then if the offense is not going to be able to put together, string along some drives, the defense is going to get gassed out and they'll be tired. So. Go ahead and give me the Bengals in this one. They know what's at stake. They got their eyes on the prize as well. They might not be competing for number 1 or number 2 in the AFC, but they know if they're able to clinch a divisional spot, maybe finish third, they're going to be right there in January come playoff time. So go ahead and give me the Bengals in this one. But we'll go ahead and move on to our next game. The red hot Detroit Lions are on the road playing the Carolina Panthers.
Ooh, man. Uh, the Panthers have a sneakily good defense, and they have a pretty solid run game. So this is like one of those games where, like, wouldn't just completely write off the Panthers, but like I want to say, I'm gonna go with the Lions in this game just because I feel like they have their eyes set on trying to make their way into the playoffs, and they know each game is a must-win game for them if they want to secure a playoff spot. And of course, that offense is very, very talented, and Jared Goff has been playing well all season long, and they have a lot of weapons on that side. So I'm gonna go with this team, and I feel like in the air, even though the Lions have a pretty bad secondary, I don't think Sam Darnold's gonna do enough to pick them apart like that. So give me the Lions in this game.
Yeah, give me the Lions in this game. Like I said, I think the last 6 games they've just been rolling on both sides of the ball, defensively and offensively. And like Abdi said, I don't think Sam Darnold's going to beat you in the air. I mean, they do have a good run game. Their defense is very solid, especially with J.C. Horn as one of the top cornerbacks in the league. But offensively, I don't think they lack the power that the Lions have. So I see the Lions winning this game. They got an easy schedule rest of the season, man. I feel like they're going to clinch that playoff spot, but we'll see what happens. But Jared Goff, the run game, Amon-Ra Brown, and they're going to cook up. And people were dissing that. Like, I mean, y'all were dissing Dan Campbell and all these players early in the season, talking about, oh, they're this offense is that. Dan Campbell got to go. You know, he's a motivational guy in the locker room, and they're sitting one game out the playoff spot, and possibly they can make it. So we'll see what happens.
I can't lie. I'm looking at their schedule right now. I can't see like a very, very impressive win. I mean, I'll go ahead and say that it's impressive to beat the Vikings, but but they're always guaranteed a win against us at some point in the season, whether it's in the beginning or the end. But I'm going to give them credit here. Of course, it's going 6-1 in your last 7 games. It's not easy to do that in the NFL. And they do have a very, very good opportunity to make the playoffs with these last 3 games being Carolina, Chicago, and Green Bay. But with that being said, go ahead and give me the Lions in this one. Of course, they have everything going for them. They can't seem to cool off, and I don't see them cooling off this week. J.C. Horn on the opposite side for Carolina, he's very, very good, and we'll get to him later on today. But regardless, it just comes down to who has the better offense, and I believe the Lions, with all their skilled players, are just more talented on that side of the ball compared to the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers might put up a fight. But in the end, the Lions will find a way to, win this game, and then they'll go ahead and move on to 8-7. So there's going to be an interesting race to the end of for that last playoff spot towards the end of the season. So go ahead and give me the Lions. We'll move on to the next game. The Atlanta Falcons are on the road playing the Baltimore Ravens, who will be without Lamar Jackson this week. I believe Huntley will be under center. I believe he cleared concussion protocols, or whatever injury he was dealing with is no longer bothering him, so he'll be the starter this week.
This one is a bit of a surprise. Like, I feel like Atlanta can do enough to win this game, but like, I just like Baltimore's defense, regardless of how bad their offense plays. I feel like their defense tends to keep them in games. And last week they were just a bunch of mistakes, and then a rare Justin Tucker missed field goal and turnovers. Like, there's a lot of dumb plays that are uncharacteristic of the Ravens. So, I'm going to go with the Ravens this game just because I feel like their defense will do just enough to get them in the game, to keep them in the game. And then J.K. Dobbins has been playing great, so he's someone to watch out for in this type of setting. So give me the Ravens.
Yeah, if Desmond Ridder starts again this week, I don't think Atlanta's offense is going to be doing anything. They're not going to be pushing no P's, worth the gunner. But yeah, give me I forgot give me the Ravens. I think Huntley comes back. They're going to trust the run game, and the defense been playing phenomenally well, especially with Roquan Smith and the cornerback stepping up these past like 5 or 6 weeks. And I just think it's going to be a slow game. They're just going to run the ball just like the Falcons are, and that's it. It's going to be a whole lot of field goals. Hopefully Justin Tucker doesn't choke this week. So give me the Ravens.
Yeah, this could be a really, really big week for the Baltimore Ravens, knowing that they lost their number 1 spot in their division. And they know the Bengals are coming up at the end of the season, and they know they don't have Lamar Jackson. The Atlanta Falcons might be able to capitalize on that. Desmond Ridder, yeah, he looked bad last week, but that Saints defense is very, very good. But the Ravens defense, I don't know. They're going into this week pretty banged up. Marcus Peters is not going to be playing that on Saturday, and a few other guys. But regardless, I don't trust him enough to pick him in this spot. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Baltimore Ravens. I think the game plan is just pretty much try to run the ball as much as you can, even with Huntley. maybe try to have him be like Lamar Jackson, just running the ball as their quarterback. But I don't see this team, with all their troubles at wide receiver, now with Devin Duvernay being out for the rest of the season, and re-signing a guy like Sammy Watkins to this wide receiver core, does any good for this team. Mark Andrews, until Lamar Jackson gets back, he's not going to be useful out on the field. So go ahead and give me the Ravens in this one. They'll move on to 10-5, hopefully, and it comes down to the last couple of games if Lamar Jackson's healthy. But we'll go ahead and move on to the next game. The last 10 o'clock game on Saturday, we have the New York Giants on the road playing the Minnesota Vikings.
Is that the Vikings home, right?
Yeah, the Giants are on the road in this one.
I think the Vikings have been pretty stout at home, for the most part, with maybe a 7-1 record at home. I want to say, for the most part, the Vikings have been dominant at home, and I just feel like they have just way too much offensive firepower. And the Giants, their defense plays great, man. Their defense keeps them in games, and of course, Daniel Jones game manages, and Saquon, he's gonna get his touches here and there, but I just feel like they lack overall offensive firepower, even though they're probably motivated after that win against the Commanders, and they're looking to stay in playoff contention. But giving the Vikings in this game, just too much offensive power.
Yeah, give me the Vikings this game. I expect them to come out firing on all cylinders. They don't want to start off slow like they did last week. I expect them to get into their game, start balling out early in this game. But Giants offensively, they don't really have much options. The Vikings are going to key in hopefully on Saquon, try to clamp him, shut him down, and force Daniel Jones to make some big throws. And they don't really got receivers, so we'll see what happens. But Giants defense is pretty good, so Vikings got to be on their A game, especially, can't go down big, can't make some turnovers, can't give us some easy touchdowns like they did last week. So we'll see what happens. But I got Vikings going 12-3 this upcoming week, and there's 2 games left in the season where Jalen Hurts injured. Anything's possible for the Vikings. So we'll see what happens.
I don't want to think too far ahead about that, but to speak about this game, of course, I'm taking my Minnesota Vikings in this one. This is pretty much a no-brainer for me. I don't necessarily respect this New York Giants defense. They haven't really played anybody good offensively. They haven't beat anybody good with a great offense. They played teams like Seattle. They lost there, where DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Kenneth Walker all got in the end zone. They play the Detroit Lions, and we know how red hot their offense is with all their skilled players. They lost there. Dallas, same thing. Philly put up 48 points on them. So this defense it only shows up when they play teams that aren't really talented on the offensive side of the ball. So, and I think these guys are going to have a hard time trying to stop Justin Jefferson, try to stop guys like TJ Hawkinson, KJ Osborne, Adam Thielen, even though he's pretty much a shell of himself. And I feel like we'll probably try to get Dalvin Cook the ball, consistently in this game. But I'm just afraid that we're so high right now with what happened last week that we can get caught slipping in this one. But I'm not going to go against my team, having done it all year, and I won't do it today. I think we'll still be good enough to win this game. I don't think we'll go down like 17-0 in the first quarter or 33-0 at halftime. I can't see the Giants offense putting up that many points on us, but it'll be a good spot for us to get a win at home. I believe we have another home game left, or I think we close out the season on the road. So this might be the last home game of the year for us. So go ahead and give me my Minnesota Vikings in this one. But we'll go ahead and move on to our 1 o'clock games. We have the Washington Commanders coming off a loss on Sunday night to the Giants on the road playing the San Francisco 49ers.
That is tough. Looks like the Commanders' playoff chances are ending after this game. They're gonna absolutely harass Taylor Heineke. They're gonna be all over him, and the Niners, they're trying to secure that top spot, the Viking spot as a second seed in the NFC. They're not trying to fall behind them, and they're gonna come out absolutely just attacking Taylor Heineke, and Christian McCaffrey's gonna get busy. George Kittle, he woke up last week, and so I'm hoping they keep him involved for my fantasy chances. And so overall, I think the 49ers are going to win this game pretty comfortably. What's the spread on this? I'm curious.
The spread on this game, I believe, is, give me one sec. It's -7 for the Niners.
Yeah, they cover that. They definitely cover that. This defense is just too much, and the running game is going to get busy. So give me the Niners this game.
Yeah, give me the Niners this game. It's going to be a tough day for that offensive side of the ball for the Commanders. That Niners defense, man, I really do believe they're the best defense in the NFL right now. Sitting comfortably. They're playing phenomenal ball. And the offensive side of the ball, it's just they got so many options. Like, you plug in any type of quarterback and they still succeed. So Christian McCaffrey, I need another big day from him. Hopefully I touch the 30 ball, he cooks up again for me. And then Kittle, Ayuk, the other tight ends, and then what's the other receiver that stepped in for Debo? He been cooking up. Janice or Jennings?
Jawan Jennings.
Jawan Jennings, not Jawan Jennings.
Ray McLeod.
I think it's Jennings, but I don't think his first name is Juan. But Jennings and McLeod, those two guys stepped in, and Purdy as well. So those guys are cooking up, and I feel like easy, comfortable for the Niners this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick the Niners in this one. The Washington Commanders, if they would have won on Sunday against the Giants, their playoff chances would have risen to 95%. But with that loss, it went all the way down to 35%. And with the rest of their schedule and the matchups they got, it's just highly unlikely that they make the playoffs in their current shape. So go ahead and give me the Niners in this one. These guys are just probably the most complete team in all of football. There's no holes on both sides of the ball. It doesn't even matter if it's Brock Purdy leading the way. These guys have an elite run game. They can throw the ball and with all of their skilled guys, and then their defense, man, they just know how to harass people. And I feel like that's exactly what they're going to do to Taylor Heineke. It's going to be a tough day for the Washington Commanders, and their playoff hopes might be over. Pretty much will be over after this game. So go ahead and give me the Niners. But we'll go ahead and move on to the next game. I don't know why this game is not on Sunday Night Football, but the matchup we've all been waiting for. It took a little bit of a hit, but the Philadelphia Eagles, without Jalen Hurts, now Gardner Minshew will be under center, are on the road playing the Dallas Cowboys.
Damn, I know we were excited to see Jalen Hurts in this matchup, so it sucks that he's going to be out for this game. So, if he had been playing, I would have definitely rocked with the Eagles. I just felt like the Cowboys, like, they've been in too many close games. So, and Minshew is not a bad backup whatsoever, especially with the weapons at his disposal in this offensive line in this running game. But I feel like they're just gonna take a hit offensively, and so give me the Cowboys in this game. At the same time, I would not be surprised if somehow, some way, the Eagles end up winning this game. But I just feel like without Jalen Hurts, they're missing a huge part of that rushing attack. He's always going to get the ball moving forward, whether that's through his arm or through his legs. And so, it's hard for me to trust Dak, especially after his last couple of weeks with his turnovers. But just give me the Cowboys in this game. I feel like offensively, they'll probably be better than what the Eagles are able to put out.
Ooh, that's a tough one. Should I pick my guy Gardner Minshew? Should I go with the Cowboys and be like, safe pick? I do believe the Eagles. I mean, I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna go with the Eagles. I feel like it's a plug and play with Minshew. I feel like he's not a bad thrower. I feel like he's comfortable with the Eagles, the offense. He's comfortable with the game. He's not a bad quarterback as well. And I think it doesn't really take much of a hit with Hurts sitting out because they got offensive weapons that you just need a passer to throw to, like AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. They got the run game going. The offensive line's healthy, and the defense is playing great. So I feel like, divisional game, even if Minshew steps in, I feel like he balls out. They control the game. I expect Miles Sanders to get more touches and him to hit that 100-yard, break that 100-yard marker, and AJ Brown and Devontae Smith to step up. So I'm gonna still rock with the Eagles. Cowboys got me a little iffy after what they did last week, even the week before that too. So they're playing a little iffy. So go Eagles.
Yeah, if Jalen Hurts were playing in this game, of course I'd go with the Eagles. Actually, no, I'm lying. I'd probably pick the Cowboys even if Jalen Hurts was playing. So I'm gonna stick with that. I'm gonna pick the Dallas Cowboys to win this game. Of course I went against them last week, and I feel like I was right. I hit around the money. I knew what was gonna happen, and then what I knew was gonna happen happened. The Cowboys just got caught slipping against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are red hot right now, and they're hitting their strides on all cylinders in that game. And I feel like the Cowboys they've come back down to earth now, and they realize what's at stake. They know that they're going to finish second in their division. So regardless of what they do, they can't necessarily move up in the standings. But this is still a big game against the Philadelphia Eagles. They want to prove themselves to this team. Doesn't matter who's under center, whether it's Jalen Hurts or Gardner Minshew. Now, I am a little bit concerned with Jalen Hurts and this injury that they're trying to keep under wraps. We kind of don't know all the details about it. But for him to be ruled out this early, this is Thursday. He got ruled out Thursday. There's a game on Saturday. I mean, I don't know. I feel like they didn't even give him a chance to suit up in this game or try to have him practice on it whatsoever. They probably took the safe route with this one. But I am a little bit concerned. I was expecting more of a game time decision with him, trying to go have him go out there in pregame and see how he's feeling. But the Eagles didn't want to take that chance. They already announced that Gardner Minshew would be under center. So I feel like the Cowboys in this one, they have a lot to prove to this Philadelphia Eagles team. They're trying to send a message that, of course, we slipped up on the defensive side of the ball and we haven't been good. Dak hasn't been good on the offensive side of the ball, but, we're still a very, very good, respectable team. And I feel like this is a good spot to prove it in against the number one team in the NFC. So go ahead and give me the Cowboys in this one. We'll go ahead and move on to our Saturday night football matchup. I'm sorry. The Las Vegas Raiders are on the road playing the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Man, it's so hard for me to ever root against the Raiders, man. Like the idea of this team, always feel like it could be so much better than what they're showing. So, I'm gonna rock with the Raiders in this game just because offensively, I feel like they're always a team that could explode at any moment. We just don't know when to expect it. But the Steelers, I just can't trust their offense, especially with Mr. Trubisky. I believe Kenny Pickett came out of the concussion protocol, though, if I'm correct, right?
I think
He
so.
might. So I don't know the situation, but regardless, if Kenny Pickett is starting, Mr. Trubisky is starting, this offense is just not productive enough for me to rock with them. Najee Harris has been better as of recently, but that isn't enough for me to side with them. I'm going to go with the Raiders in this game. They just have too many players on offense to not be better.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Raiders as well. I just, like Abdi said, offensive side of the ball, they just got too much talent on that side of the ball. Like Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, Waller's back, and if Carr can just play a good game, manage the game mode, don't throw no turnovers, get 200 yards and a touchdown, it's fine. They can win like that. But on the other side of the ball, Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, it just, to me, I don't know if that offense is just working right now. I feel like the defense is carrying a lot for them, and the run game has stepped up for the Steelers this past couple of weeks. So I'm gonna go with the Raiders. Hopefully, Carr doesn't sell me. I've been talking bad about him all year, and I'm going ahead and picking him this time. So go Raiders.
Yeah, I can't lie. This is a terrible, terrible Saturday night football matchup, especially with the majority of the games being on this day. But go ahead and give me the Raiders in this one. I can confirm that Kenny Pickett will be under center for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike Tomlin confirmed that. I just feel like the Steelers, with him, it's a different look compared to with Mr. Trubisky. And I can't lie, I do like I like the Steelers offense with Mitch Trubisky because I feel like Mitch Trubisky gives all of his receivers the ball, all the receivers the ball. George Pickens, he hasn't really been getting his touches lately, but a guy like Deontay Johnson really steps up big when Mitch Trubisky's under center. So with Kenny Pickett, it's a different look, and it's a look that I don't trust. And I feel like the Raiders, with all of these offensive weapons that they got, it's kind of hard to go against a team that can be so good offensively. And I feel like their offense is going to be better than the Steelers' offense. So go ahead and give me the Raiders in this one. But it's crazy because Vegas got the Steelers as the favorites right now. It's -2.5. So I think I would definitely take Raiders +2.5. But with that being said, we'll go ahead and move on to our Sunday slate of games. We have a little 3-game slate. Starting at 10 o'clock, we have the Green Bay Packers on the road playing the Miami Dolphins.
I think this is where our playoff chances just get shut. If it wasn't shut before, I feel like this is probably the game. You're going up against Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, against a team that's literally on a losing skid. I absolutely do not want to see these guys in this matchup whatsoever. I just feel like it's a mismatch offensively, what they have and what we have, and I feel like it's going to be a struggle. I mean, the Packers might attempt to try to win this game as much as they can, but I just feel like the Dolphins have just too much offensive firepower, and they've just been on losing streaks, so they know they got to be better. So give me the Dolphins in this game.
Yeah, give me the Dolphins as well. I feel like, Raheem Mostert is going to be more involved in this game, and Packers are going to get gashed down that middle like they've been getting gashed all year long. So the offensive weapon, it's not comparable with Tyreek, Jalen Waddle. And I feel like Mostert is going to have a big day. And, Miami on a 3-game losing skid. And, they're fighting for the playoffs. So this is a big one. And I feel like Packers are going to be in the game somewhat, but I think just Tua and the Dolphins are going to run with it. So go Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this game because I know who's going to win, and I know exactly how the Miami Dolphins are going to win this game. It's simply on the backs of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Those two guys they're going to put up a show on that Green Bay Packers defense. And like Abdi said, man, whatever hope you guys had left of making the playoffs, it's going to be shattered in this spot. Go ahead and give me the Dolphins to cover this -4 spread as well. The Dolphins are going to get right back on track being at home. There's just no way I can't picture a way that the Green Bay Packers come out victorious in this one. There's just no way. And the Packers season will be pretty much over. And the Packers last 3 games of the season is pretty interesting. They have the Miami Dolphins this week, then they have the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions. I feel like the Packers are probably going to go 0-3 or maybe 1-2 to end the year, but that's just me. But go ahead and give me the Dolphins in this one. We'll go ahead and move on to the next game. I think Russell Wilson's back in this one. The Denver Broncos are on the road playing the Los Angeles Rams.
Give me the Broncos in this game just because I feel like it's hard for me to trust Russell Wilson all season long. You know, he other than that little outburst he had versus the Chiefs, he's been downright terrible the entire year. And I don't think that'll change like much. But the Rams, of course, they haven't been good themselves, and with Baker Mayfield leading the way for them against this Broncos defense, who have been solid all year long. I just don't see a situation where the Rams win this game. So give me the Broncos, even though I don't know if I can expect 2 touchdowns or 3 touchdowns for them, but they'll do a good job of limiting Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, give me the Broncos and that defense. You know, I don't think Baker Mayfield's gonna come in and do anything. I don't expect Russell Wilson to do much, but we'll see what happens. You know, this is another coin flip, but this time I'm gonna go with the Broncos.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Broncos in this one. I like what I saw from them with Russell Wilson against the Chiefs. I feel like that's enough for me to pick them in this spot against the Rams, who are mathematically eliminated out of the playoffs alongside the Denver Broncos. So, with the additional week of rest for Russell Wilson, I feel like he's going to be ready to go in this one. Just try to close out the season, finish it on a good note going into next year, and come out of the season healthy. So go ahead and give me the Broncos in this one. We'll move on to our Sunday night football game. Not a game that's not interesting. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are on the road playing the Trace McSorley-led Arizona Cardinals.
Repeat that again.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road playing the Trace McSorley-led Arizona Cardinals.
You know, it's crazy. Last year, we would have been like, the Buccaneers are going to win by 40. Tom Brady might have 5 touchdowns. It's crazy how things change in a year. But, of course, I'm going to go with the Buccaneers in this game. That's obvious. I'm not going to trust a backup quarterback with a terrible undermanned offense. But, I'm not going to sit here and act like the Buccaneers are going to just blow the doors open. They're going to have a monster day. Tom Brady's going to be back. They showed flashes in the first half against the Bengals, but they just reverted back to who they were all season long in the second half. So, give me the Buccaneers in this game, but I still don't expect much from them. I don't expect them to have what's the spread on this?
The spread is Tampa -7.5.
I don't think they're good enough to cover that spread. I just don't think they're good enough to cover that spread. So, give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is somehow a close game.
Yeah, give me Tampa Bay, but what can you expect? I mean, I've seen it all this year with the Buccaneers. So lose to the third string quarterback. I can't pronounce his name, but let's call him McFlurry, whatever his name is.
McFlurry.
McFlurry. There we go. We got a name for him. If Tom Brady loses to him, man, just hang it up. You know what I'm saying? Just call it quits, bro. The rest of the season's done. Might as well try to get your wife back and just retire. Go back home. That's it. Yeah. But I got Tampa.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say much about this game. I'm gonna pick the Buccaneers. I don't really care how they win this game. They're just gonna win this game, plain and simple. We'll go ahead and move on to our last game of the week. Monday Night Football. We have the Los Angeles Chargers on the road playing the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts will be without Jonathan Taylor for the rest of the season as the Colts put him on IR due to a lingering ankle injury.
Give me the Chargers in this game. After that terrible collapse from the Colts, I was thinking to myself, what do you even say in the locker room after that game ends, right? You blow a 33-point lead. How do you even tell your team, yo, let's get ready for this next game? You just can't. You just blew a lead like that. It's impossible. That's literally a morale killer. So give me the Chargers in this game. They've been winning games as of recently. Justin Herbert has been better. You guys' weapons back and healthy. And they're trying to look to make a playoff push and stay in the playoff running. And I feel like they're just a more talented offense, and I just can't trust Matt Ryan and Jeff Saturday after what I saw last week. So give me the Chargers this game.
Can somebody tell Jeff Saturday that last chance you next season for football is looking for a head coach. They're available, they're hiring, and they're ready to film. So tell him, when he's ready to get out of the Colts, he's ready. But yeah, give me I forgot who they played.
Chargers.
Chargers. Easy W for the Chargers right now. They last couple of weeks they've been turning up. Herbert got his weapons back. I still want him to score more touchdowns. I don't like the lines of him 350 yards, 45 passing attempts, and 1 touchdown. So expect him coming against the Colts and hopefully 3 touchdowns, 350 yards, and they turn up against them. And it's a sad way to see how Jonathan Taylor's season ended. Not riddled with a bunch of injuries. Hasn't been playing well whatsoever after having the season he had last year. And I don't know what happened to that old line. I feel like they just got worse. So, bad way for him to finish the season off like this. And hopefully he gets healthy. But go Chargers.
I don't know, man. Speak about Jonathan Taylor, he's had a terrible season, and I had him in 2 of my fantasy leagues where I picked him. I think in one of my leagues I picked him with the number 1 overall pick, and then in another league I picked him with the number 2 overall pick. He's definitely going on my list of do not draft players going into next year. With this injury, it pretty much ended his season. My fantasy season has already been pretty much done. I'm not in the playoffs in any of my leagues, and I will never draft this guy again. So go ahead and give me the Los Angeles Chargers in this one. I forgot to mention that the Indianapolis Colts are moving forward with Nick Foles as their starting quarterback. Matt Ryan has been officially benched, but I'm sure that it's not going to make a huge difference in any of you guys' predictions. We're all going with the Chargers in this one. The Chargers are good enough to win this game, and I think that's exactly what they'll do. With Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, Austin Eckler all being in the fold, Justin Herbert will have a field day with those guys. And throwing Nick Foles out there gives the Colts a different look. And of course, their backfield isn't bad now with Deion Jackson, and I think they signed some guy. They traded for Zach Moss at the deadline, so they still have some pieces there. But it's just this team is just not that good, regardless. Especially after what happened last week, none of these players are motivated going into this week and going into the rest of the season. So, go ahead and give me the Chargers. But that pretty much wraps up Week 16 of the NFL season. Now I want to go ahead and get right into our Pro Bowl, the Pro Bowl not predictions, but announcements. We'll go ahead and start off with the NFC. The 3 quarterbacks that made it out of the NFC: Jalen Hurts, Geno Smith, Kirk Cousins. For running backs, we have Saquon Barkley, Tony Pollard, and Miles Sanders. For fullbacks, Kyle Juszczyk from the San Francisco 49ers. The wide receivers, you have Justin Jefferson, A.J. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Terry McLaurin. For the tight ends, George Kittle, TJ Hawkinson. Offensive tackles, Trent Williams, Lane Johnson, Tristan Wirfs. Offensive guards, Zach Martin, Landon Dickerson, Christian Lindstrom. Centers, Jason Kelce, Frank Ragnow. Defensive end, as that was the offense, we'll go to the defense now. For the defensive ends, we have Nick Bosa, Brian Burns, DeMarcus Lawrence. Interior linemen, we have Aaron Donald, Jonathan Allen, Dexter Lawrence. Outside linebackers, we have Michael Parsons, Zadarius Smith, Hassan Reddick. Inside linebackers, Fred Warner, Demario Davis. Cornerbacks, Darius Slade, Trevon Diggs, Tariq Woolen, Jair Alexander. Free safeties, Quandre Diggs. Strong safeties, Budda Baker and Talanoa Hufanga. And then for special teams, we don't care about special teams, we'll be honest. But I do want to get into the NFC a little bit. I feel like they hit it right on the head with the quarterbacks. I don't necessarily think any other quarterback was worthy enough to be Pro Bowler this year.
Yeah, I don't think they missed with the NFC. I've seen some people talking about Justin Fields, but I don't think so. He has been playing solid since week 5, but these guys have just been winning games, and so they deserve to get in ahead of him, especially Geno Smith and Kirk Cousins. They've just been absolutely winning games, so I don't see an argument for him to make it. I don't think any other quarterback, Jared Goff, he's been playing solid all season, but again, he's not a quarterback I would put in this category. So I think they got it right on with the quarterbacks in the NFC.
Yeah, I agree as well. The only problem with me is Cowboy fans always yelling now, why didn't Dak get it? Where's Dak at? Dak's this, he's supposed to be. Nah, man, just please close the case with Dak, bro. Stop trying to throw him in arguments that he's not supposed to be in. But those 3 quarterbacks deserve it, especially Jalen Hurts. Kirk Cousins has been playing phenomenally well, and my guy Geno Smith, man. So great 3 picks right there.
Yeah, no problem with the quarterbacks. I mean, for me personally, I don't necessarily have a problem with any of the offensive players. I think for me, it comes down to maybe the offensive line.
Actually, I
Uh,
do have a problem with the running backs though.
Yeah, me too.
I would have personally put in Christian McCaffrey. I
over
would have
who
personally
though?
over Miles Sanders. I would have personally had him over Miles Sanders.
I would have had it over Tony Pollard too.
Yeah,
Nah, I wouldn't put him over Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders has 1,100 yards and 11 touchdowns this year.
Christian
I
McCaffrey,
mean,
all yards is what 1,500, and he's sitting at what 9, 10 touchdowns off.
yeah, something like that. 10 touchdowns and like 1,500 yards.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. For me, it speaks volume because his game's a dual threat. You can put him at receiver, he can get you 10 catches. You can put him at running back, he'll give you 23 carries, 120 yards. Whatever he does phenomenally well. So I told y'all he's gonna be comeback player of the year, and he's sitting at 1,500 total yards and 10 touchdowns. And I feel like he's gonna break it. He's gonna get 300, 400 these last 3 games, and he's gonna be eating.
Christian
Yeah, I
McCaffrey.
would have
Christian
him over him.
McCaffrey is an interesting one. He's probably like I would if you had to pick a running back who got snubbed, it would probably be him. But I still think that it's not like it's like a huge snub. I think Miles Sanders was well deserved. Tony Pollard still well deserved. And Saquon Barkley, of course, that one was a no brainer. But we go to wide receivers: JJ, of course, AJ Brown, of course, CeeDee Lamb, and then Terry McLaurin. I think that one surprised me a little bit, but then I looked at the NFC and yeah, it's not much competition.
Like the only like other person that would just like make an argument with him is like probably someone like St. Brown or something. Other than that, it's just the NFC wide receivers. No one
Yeah,
that's like
for me, it was only St. Brown. That's it.
I would make an argument. It was just about him.
He started off hooping early, and then he kind of slowed down, and now
I think he got injured and then
yeah.
Yeah, and then yeah, of course, tight ends is already thin as it is at the tight end position. And then for me personally, I disagreed with Trent Williams, or Lane Johnson or Tristan Wirfs. One of these guys making it over my guy Christian Darrisaw. I feel like Christian Darrisaw has been one of the best left tackles in the league. For him not to make the Pro Bowl, I mean, I have my opinion on the Pro Bowl. I think it's Mickey Mouse.
it's a fake.
It's the fakest thing in all of sports. Like people don't respect it as they do the All-Star game in the MLB and the NBA and all the other sports. The Pro Bowl is just a lot of people make it off popularity and not necessarily what they did in that specific season. So I feel like he got robbed in this spot. Of course you can give it to Trent Williams and Lane Johnson, but Tristan Wirfs, can you really say he's been better than Christian Darrisaw? I can't say that, but for me personally, I didn't necessarily have any problem with for majority of the defensive guys. I feel like these guys all were well deserved. Besides one guy in particular, and we'll go to the DBs. Jair Alexander. I didn't understand the logic on that. He hasn't been playing good all year. He's actually been pretty much getting torched this entire season.
Wait. So who would make it over him?
I think. Let me look at the team.
J.C. Horn.
Yes, J.C. Horn. See, I was just gonna think of a name, but
Come
he
on
was
now.
definitely well deserved over a guy like Jair Alexander. There was no reason for him to be thrown into the Pro Bowl.
I mean, the Pro Bowl's fake, so like, of course, the name carries weight. So Jair is gonna make it in. He has been struggling as recently, though.
I feel like, I mean, yeah, he's been struggling this entire season, but J.C. Horn would have been a more well-deserved candidate for this spot. But for me, let's go ahead and move on from the NFC. There's not really a lot of snubs in this one. I think there's more snubs in the AFC. And we'll go ahead and list off. We'll go by positions. Quarterbacks, we have Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Burrow. I think we did hit it around the head on this one.
That one, if you're a
that one.
Tua fan, like that's tough because it's like that makes perfect sense why those three made it. If this was voting like maybe 4 weeks ago or 5 weeks ago, then like yeah, you'd be like, yo, Tua absolutely deserves to make it. But these guys, they hit it right on the head with these three. Like, and they have an argument for being the three best quarterbacks in a row in the NFL. So, I mean, they got it spot on.
All three of those guys been hooping all year long, so can't take that away from them. Especially in Tua's case too. He's been hooping, but those guys, man, it's a different story.
Yeah, it's not a knock on Tua that he didn't make the Pro Bowl. It's just the fact that these three quarterbacks have been playing better than him this year. So I think they hit it. They got it perfect for the quarterbacks. I think they also got it right on the running backs. They have Nick Chubb, Josh Jacobs, and Derrick Henry. Those three guys have been balling out this year.
Yeah, the funny thing, those are three guys that are top in the rushing in the NFL, and all three of them, I think, have like 10 plus touchdowns. So, I mean, they're spot on with this one. Josh Jacobs has been the best running back in the NFL this season. You know, Derrick Henry, he's been cooking as well, coming off injury last season, and Nick Chubb's always going to be consistent and efficient. So, I mean, they're right on with this one as well.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I feel like this side of the AFC, you know, they got the bruiser backs compared to the other side where it's more versatile, you know, more you can throw them out to receiver type backs. But these three backs leading the league in rushing, leading the league in touchdowns, they've been hooping, man. People, you know, complain on Twitter saying Austin Eckler this, that, nah, no way. I'm not gonna put Eckler in there.
I mean, I do think Eckler is deserving of a Pro Bowl spot, but how are you gonna fit him
I'm
in?
just
There's only
saying,
3
man.
spots, you know, compared to those 3 guys.
The run game been horrible, and he just feeds off of 2-yard dishes. And he just 10 catches a game just off 2-yard dishes, and it's like it's easy for a running back to do that. That gets fed like that, you know. So I don't know.
I mean, we've said it since the beginning of the year. He's pretty much an off-brand CMC. He's sitting at 1,300 yards and 14 touchdowns. So that's pretty much exactly what CMC is doing. But it's tough to put him in try to fit him in with guys like Nick Chubb, Josh Jacobs, and Henry who've been killing it all year. So I think they hit it right on the head with this one. Fullbacks, they have Patrick Ricard from the Baltimore Ravens to make it. I think here's my problem. At the wide receiver position, yes, you have Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams, 3 guys who are well deserved to be the Pro Bowlers this year. My problem is with Ja'Marr Chase. Ja'Marr Chase should not have made the Pro Bowl this year.
Should have been Jalen Waddle. Should have been Jalen Waddle because Ja'Marr Chase missed games with injuries, and Jalen Waddle has been solid all year long. And I just feel like he just got snubbed very hard on that one. He should have absolutely made it.
He got snubbed for sure. Chase missed how much games this year? 3?
I think
Something
he missed
like that.
3 or 4.
3 or 4, and it's crazy to say that he can make Pro Bowl missing 4 games. The stats are not close. Waddle's been eating all year long, especially even with Tua out. It's just like he's missing his quarterback. So even at that point, it's like it's not fair for him to get snubbed, but sucks he did.
Yeah.
Even like I would have took T. Higgins over Ja'Marr Chase this year too.
Yeah, I would have
taken T. Higgins.
Yeah, if it wasn't gonna be Jalen Waddle, at least give it to his teammate who's been playing great this entire season, T. Higgins. But name value carries a lot of weight when it comes to Pro Bowl voting and stuff like that. You know, guys make it based off name value, not by performance. And this was a clear case of just name value, because how are you going to keep Ja'Marr Chase off a Pro Bowl list? Tight ends, they got it right. Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews. Offensive tackle, Larry Tunsil, Terron Armstead, and Orlando Brown. I feel like they could have put in a better player other than Orlando Brown. Orlando Brown's actually been pretty garbage for the Kansas City Chiefs this year, but I just can't think of another offensive tackle from any other team that could have made it over him. I think I would probably put Ronnie Stanley from the Baltimore Ravens, because he's the main guy on the offensive line, and the Ravens have the best rushing attack in all of football. So I would put him in that spot over Orlando Brown, who's been pretty much struggling all year.
They did miss one on defense though, Matt Milano. I'm a bit surprised he didn't make it. That one's a bit of a shocker to me.
For linebackers?
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, we look down this list. They put in TJ Watt, who hasn't played literally 50%
like that doesn't make any
season.
sense, man. Like Matt Milano's literally been the Buffalo's like MVP on defense, especially with Von Miller out. Like that's their guy on defense, and for him to not make it, that's kind of crazy. But no, it's a Pro Bowl, so I knew it was done when they got guys like Mac Jones to make it last year. So like it's literally a fake award. It's like a fake award. Like everybody, guys can have the option to turn down Pro Bowls. That's how you know nobody cares about it. And I'm a bit surprised going back to DBs and the NFC. Someone like James Bradbury didn't even make it. Who's been playing excellent all year long for the Philadelphia Eagles. So that's more proof of like the Pro Bowl just be filling.
His teammate Darius Slay got in though, so
yeah, but he like if anything, honestly, like Bradbury's been better than Darius Slay on totality.
I feel like that's been true too. I feel like Slay just got in because of name value.
Bro, exactly. Patrick Peterson should have made it over Jair Alexander, bro.
maybe 12 years ago or something.
I would dust him in a 1v1 right now, straight 9 route. Stop.
Nah, man. But for cornerbacks in the AFC though, I do have a problem with Xavier Howard making it. I feel like DJ Reed from the New York Jets should have made it alongside Sauce Gardner, but I feel like since they already put one Jets player on this list, it's tough to put a second in the same especially in the same position. Because I think they got it right with Pat Surtain and Marlon Humphrey and of course Sauce. I feel like DJ Reed was more worthy enough of this award compared to Xavier Howard. But other than that, of course, you still have TJ Watt, and who should have not made it. And Minkah Fitzpatrick made it for the safeties, strong safeties. Derwin James, Jordan Poyer. I think they got that one right. But who made the safeties in the NFC? I think that's
My boy Quandre Diggs, baby.
Quandre Diggs. I feel like did I skip that? Oh, Quandre Diggs, Buda Baker, and Talanoa Hufanga. I feel like Harrison Smith should have made this one as well. You keep Diggs, Buda Baker.
I don't know about Buda Baker this year.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
man.
know about him either.
You know me, I tapped into a lot of Cardinal games this year, and I feel like he was getting cooked. He was getting beat. He was not making tackles. He didn't have he doesn't have as much turnovers as he did last year as well too. So I feel like the fall off been extremely bad.
If anything, I've heard JJ Watt would have been a better selection to make the Pro Bowl over instead of if they were to pick a Cardinal, it would have been him that would have made it versus someone like Buda Baker. But
Man, I think the voters saw that one viral clip from Buda Baker where he was crying in the locker room after a game, and he's like, "This means a lot to me," or something like that. And
after Seattle lost, it was bad.
Yeah, so I think that was just enough. That was enough ammunition for them to vote this guy in, because I think Harrison Smith, who's been playing great for us, you can see it when he's not playing in with it compared to when he is playing. He was definitely worthy enough of this position. But I think that pretty much wraps up the Pro Bowl rosters being revealed. We all know the Pro Bowl is a joke. It's 100% a huge joke. All Pro is where it's at, and of course, when the All Pro list is revealed at the end of the season, we'll be the first ones to talk about it. So, any final words though before we sign off here, fellas?
so let's get into Week 16, man.
Let's go Jacksonville, baby.
Let's go ahead and enjoy this good week of football ahead of us. And with that being said, we'll go ahead and close things out here. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. I really appreciate your love and support. We'd greatly appreciate it if you like, commented, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at New Media Podcast. For those of you that are watching us on YouTube, all of our social media handles will be in the beginning of this video. And if you're listening to us on Apple and Spotify, if you go to our Instagram page at New Media Podcast, you'll be able to navigate yourself to all of our social media handles there. So once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And of course, we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Record a new hit, then we making us a film. Wouldn't sign a deal if I got a couple mil. Been in the lab, now they throwing out deals. Me and now Lake, now that's overkill.